Why do people have protests? Because they don't want to feel powerless. They don't want to feel alone. They want to gather together with like-minded people who share their political convictions, who share their objectives. And for that one afternoon, for those few hours, they want to feel like they're the ones shouting and not the ones being shouted at. But guess what? The fact that you're shouting doesn't mean you're being heard. And the pathetic state of the vegan movement in Canada gives us many object lessons we can learn from. I saw the announcement made in very carefully edited videos here on YouTube that once again the so-called Nation Rising group is going to hold their protest on Parliament Hill in Ottawa, Canada. And those very carefully made propaganda messages. This one here, look, 9 views on YouTube. 9. It's in single digits. Guess what, people? The fact that you're shouting doesn't mean that anyone is listening. The fact that you believe in the message and you believe in your methods doesn't mean you're making a difference. Doesn't mean you're reaching the public. Definitely doesn't mean you're lobbying Parliament successfully. So the vegan movement as a whole in Canada has been failing and is a failure. But this is an especially extreme example of failure. And I've tried to engage with them. I've tried to talk to people who are involved in this organization by email and by Facebook message primarily. If any of you guys want to talk to me on Skype, please do. But in terms of the pathos of the protester, I think it is even more pathetic when they cling to this idea of radicalism, that they're revolutionaries. And that's exactly the marketing strategy that so-called Nation Rising has gone with. They don't say, hey, we're a reasonable bunch of people trying to make a change to the tax code, which is what they're trying to do. They don't say, hey, we're against government corruption and we don't really want the meat and dairy industry corrupting our democracy and our democracy putting money to... No. They don't sell it that way. And they also don't present themselves as having a vegan message, which for us has always raised a lot of red flags. It's very, very strange for that to do. But, their idea of lobbying is once a year to go to Ottawa and scream at people in Parliament, holding signs as those parliamentarians go in to take their seats and do their day's work, as if they don't get screamed at every day. And people, it's not lobbying. It's not an effective use of your time. It's not even an effective use of the time of the people who are being screamed at. So guys, as this year's protest in Ottawa, Canada is coming up once again, I'll give you the link below this video. If any of you want to go, I'm going to send out an email inviting anyone in this organization to talk to me or have me positively involved. I genuinely think that the event they had last year would have been more successful and more meaningful if they had involved me. And it's a peculiarity today that when I'm searching YouTube for videos on this topic, my videos criticizing them, and it is constructive criticism, have far more views than the videos they made, either promoting their event or with lectures that are taken from that event. Ultimately, look, this may sound strange coming from someone who's uploaded over 1,000 lectures to YouTube. I have. But you know what? It's pointless. People don't want to be lectured. People don't want to travel across the country just to stand there and listen to a lecture that they already agree with. I heard from a friend of a friend just today. The friend of a friend said she was frustrated with shoveling manure on an animal shelter. That she came to the conclusion, look, whatever the future of the vegan movement is, the way to build the future of the vegan movement is not going to be shoveling poo on a farm. It's not going to be sweeping and cleaning up everything. This can't be it. This can't be the effective form of vegan activism. Well, the conclusion we all got to come to, and in the case of this particular organization, I wish they'd come to it sooner rather than later, is that the future of the vegan movement isn't going to be people getting together and patting themselves in the back. It isn't going to be a crowd of people who are already vegan standing around and listening to one another give lectures about how morally pure and wonderful veganism is. What is it they're actually calling for? This is the weird thing. This is the paradoxical thing. What they're calling for isn't revolutionary. What they're calling for is an end to government subsidies for the meatpacking industry. And they want the government to have support for farmers making the transition so that farmers don't suddenly become unemployed overnight.
Yeah, which is great. Like,
Okay.
I think their About Us page has some really good information in it. I think it's good.
Well, okay, there's about 6 sentences here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use the word information.
Well, okay.
But that's their platform. They want to end government subsidies. They want to help farmers with that transition. And they even say we are a love-based movement. We are not trying to destroy farmers. So this is really paradoxical. So why would you say it's not a protest, it's a revolution? Why wouldn't you say, look, guys, this isn't a revolutionary movement. This is a totally reasonable request to amend the tax code, to amend how taxation works in Canada. And here's how we're going to accomplish it. Here's the plan. We're going to do it the same way PCRM does, the same way any other lobbying for government change does. It makes no sense. Instead, what they want to do is front on some kind of left-wing radical aesthetic. I wrote to Nation Rising. This was called Nation Rising. Sorry, not Nation Uprising, Nation Rising. Right, got it. It's like Cake Rising. Anyway, look, Nation Rising. I wrote to them. I get a reply from someone in DXE. To me, that's a really bad sign. Oh well, I don't want to be part of DXE. This is a choice I've made after doing real research. I want to know who you people are and what you represent, and yes, what your agenda is. I've already said agenda is not a bad word, what your objectives are. And I think in the 21st century, I have a right to know. I don't have to make this political decision anymore on the basis of just a pamphlet. We should be able to know more about this, about who you are, what you represent, and what methods you're going to use to pursue it. You say it's not just a protest. You say it's a revolution. Okay, so are you going to occupy a building? Are you going to burn it down? What you say it's not a protest. So what am I being invited to? A revolution. Are you going to shoot people to the head? That's what revolutionaries do. Are you going to burn down buildings? Are you going to barricade a street? These are legit questions. And the fact that you are DXE, that as soon as I write to you, the reply I get is from DXE. DXE endorses various forms of, quote, violence against property, unquote, which leads to violence against human beings. That's what it leads to.
I think the fact that they're making murky claims and that their website doesn't really have that much... Okay, you're right. It doesn't have that much information. It just...
we pretty much just read it all. Sorry, but yeah, come on, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe they are under the impression that it could make their movement look edgy and attract people to it. But to me, I think that kind of signals that it's maybe unorganized or... shoddy, like they don't really know what people are being invited to do at this point.
I'd say
that's just my impression that from looking at this website. It's like, if you're going to put up a website and invite people to do something, you should have like clear goals and as you say talk about your agenda. Like
you said, you should have a full platform like Bernie Sanders. When you use that comparison, where you actually suppose of what he's going to do and how he's going to do it.
It would be more professional and it would attract a different character of people, I think.
Well, if you're asking people to sign up and donate their time, donate their money, and attend a protest that is not a protest, then I want to know what it is. What am I donating money to? Who am I being associated with, and so on. And again, for me, if it's DXE, I don't want to play.
Yeah.
I mean, really, people like to disrespect my crew, but the fact is that you know my name and I don't know you.